organizing this colloquy with the esteemed senator from Missouri and the senator from Ohio on this very, very important issue. We have our American consumers paying more than $3.70 at the pump today. I think today the actual price is $3.72. So that's exactly the right question, because that hits every single American, every single one. And as you and the other senators have pointed out, when the administration took office, the price of gasoline, the price of a gallon of gasoline at the pump was about $1.85. Today it's $3.70. Actually, this chart we made yesterday, it's already old. Today the average price in the United States is $3.72. And of course, in some places it's already well over $4. The projection is that by Memorial Day, gasoline will be $4 a gallon, and by later this summer, it could be as much as $5 a gallon. So let's put that into perspective for just a minute, following up on the question put forward by the senator from Texas. Recently, the president wanted a payroll tax cut, and the Congress passed that payroll tax cut. As the administration, as the president liked to point out, that was about $1,000 a year. The benefit of that payroll tax cut averaged about $1,000 a year for the American worker, or about $40 a paycheck, right? You get a paycheck every 2 weeks, so $40 a paycheck for the average working American. That's about $20 a week. Now, when you're paying somewhere between $4 and $5 a gallon for gas at the pump, you more than pay that additional $20 you got in that payroll tax, don't you? In other words, it costs you more than that. So in essence, you've gone back because of the high price of gasoline. So what's the administration doing? Well, as the senator from Missouri just pointed out, the administration has an all-of-the-above strategy. What is that? That means we produce more energy from all our resources, from oil, from gas, from biofuels, from solar, from wind, from nuclear, from biomass. And I agree with that. We should produce all of our energy resources and all of the above strategy. The problem is the administration is saying that, but they're not doing it. I repeat, they're saying an all of the above strategy, but they're not doing it. And not only are they not doing it, they're actually blocking oil and gas development in our country, and they're blocking our ability to get oil from our closest ally, Canada. And the Keystone XL pipeline, which they've turned down, is a great example of just that. 830,000 barrels a day that we're not getting from Canada because after more than 3.5 years of study, the administration has turned down the project. But the Keystone XL pipeline and project like it are very important parts of the solution. We still get 30% of our crude from the Middle East, Venezuela. Oil prices are going up because of instability in the Middle East. That creates a risk premium to the price of gasoline, which we could reduce substantially by producing more oil and gas here at home and with our closest friend and ally and trading partner, Canada. So ironically, the president wanted a payroll tax cut, he said, to stimulate our economy and to help the American worker, but then he more than takes away any benefit from that payroll tax cut by blocking our ability to develop oil and gas in this country and our ability to get oil from Canada. So in my home state of North Dakota, not only can we not get our oil to market because we can't put it in the Keystone XL pipeline and get it to the refineries, we can't get that oil from Canada either. Our consumers, working Americans, pay the price at the pump. Well, why would the administration do that? Why would they do something like that? Well, I think some insight is provided by Ted Turner's letter on the CNN website. Ted Turner has a letter on the CNN website right now. You can go check it out. Mr. Turner cites a number of arguments as to why we should not get oil from Canada. First, he says, well, that oil that we get from Canada, we'll just export it, so it won't reduce gas prices in the United States. But a recent Department of Energy report dated June 22 2011 U.S. Department of Energy report says just the opposite. It says that the crude we bring in from Canada will be refined in the United States and that it will lower gas prices in the United States on the East Coast, on the Gulf Coast, and in the Midwest. Not may reduce gas prices, will reduce gas prices, East Coast, Gulf Coast, and the Midwest. Well, then Mr. Turner's letter says, well, the pipeline will leak. And gee, we don't want a pipeline that leaks. Yet as my second chart shows here, this is the second Keystone pipeline. This first Keystone pipeline's already been built. And he said, well, that Keystone pipeline leaked, and so we can't build the second one because the first one leaked. Well, the first one had no underground leaks. The leaks he's referring to were some minor leaks in some of the joints as they constructed the thing, which is natural and normal, and they were quickly and readily handled, and they were no problem. That pipeline is functioning today. It's functioning just fine, and there are no underground leaks. So that's not accurate either, is it? And as a matter of fact, let's take a look. Geez, those aren't the only two pipelines we've got in the United States. Let's take a look. There's a few other pipelines. We have thousands of oil and gas pipelines across the country, but somehow building one more that brings in 830,000 barrels a day to help us reduce the price of gas is a problem? Really? Doesn't make much sense. Well, so then let's go on. The other argument he says is, well, we're producing that oil in Canada in the oil sands, and that's not good because we have to excavate to do it. Well, what's the reality with producing oil sands oil? It does have somewhat higher greenhouse gas emissions. How much? About 6%. 6%. That's how much more greenhouse gas emissions you get. But we're moving from excavating to produce that oil and gas to in situ. In situ is drilling, just like we do for conventional oil. That means same amount of greenhouse gas, same footprint. 80% of the new development is in situ, so it has the same footprint, same greenhouse gas emission as traditional drilling. We deploy these new technologies, we produce more energy, we do it with better environmental stewardship. So these arguments aren't accurate. But the reality is this. Folks like Mr. Turner, rich and famous, I guess they can pay $4 a gasoline, they can pay $5 a gasoline, they can pay a lot more. The problem isn't for them. The problem is for hard-working Americans who have to pay that price at the pump every single day. And so the administration has to decide. Who are they going to side with on this issue? Who are they going to side with on this issue? Are they going to continue to side with, I guess, rich and powerful interests that want to see those gasoline prices go higher and the price of gasoline at the pump really isn't an issue? Or with hard-working Americans for who this creates real hardship? And that's the issue we have here with this vote that we'll be having on the Keystone XL pipeline. The reality is this: North America, we can't have North American energy security. We can do it. Right now, between Canada and the United States, with some help from Mexico, we produce about 70% of our crude. The Keystone XL project alone would take us up over 75%. And with other sources that some of my colleagues have referred to, like shale, like the in situ drilling I've talked about, we can easily meet our needs. And in fact, if we include the work we're doing with natural gas, with biofuels, and with energy efficiency, I believe we can truly have North American energy security, meaning supply our energy needs in the United States, in North America, with our friends in Canada within 5 to 7 years. But we've got to get started. We've got to get started. So let's get started, Mr. President. Let's start by approving the Keystone XL pipeline project. Let's show the world that we're serious about getting this done. Asking the Saudis for more oil, like some of my colleagues have done, that doesn't solve the problem. Or taking oil out of the Strategic Petroleum Reserve, that doesn't solve the problem. We solve the problem by truly producing all the above. Not saying it, but by doing it. It is ironic that the administration praises TransCanada for moving forward on building the only portion of this pipeline that they can build without a presidential permit. Praising them for moving forward at the very time they're blocking the project. And while they're blocking it, that means not one more drop of oil coming into this country for Canada, not one more drop of oil coming from my state of North Dakota down to the refineries to help reduce the price of gasoline at the pump. That's not an all-of-the-above energy policy. That's not helping American workers, and that is exactly why gasoline is $3.70 a gallon and going higher. It's time for Congress to act. Thank you, Mr. President.
Senator from Maryland.